Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. The Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum is a museum in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, chronicling the Cambodian genocide. The site is a former secondary school which was used as security prison 21, S21, by the Khmer Rouge regime from its rise to power in 1975 to its fall in 1979. From 1976 to 1979, an estimated 20,000 people were imprisoned at Tuol Sleng. Tuol Sleng means Hill of the Poisonous Trees or Strychnine Hill. Tuol Sleng was just one of at least 150 torture and execution centers established by the Khmer Rouge, though other sources put the figure at 196 prison centers. On July 26, 2010, the extraordinary chambers in the Courts of Cambodia convicted the chief of Tuol Sleng Prison, Kaing, for crimes against humanity and grave breaches of the 1949 Geneva Conventions and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Formerly the Chao Pon Hiayat High School, named after a royal ancestor of King Norodom Sihanouk, the 5 buildings of the complex were converted in March/April 1976 into a prison and interrogation center. Before, other buildings in town were used already as prison S21. The Khmer Rouge renamed the complex Security Prison 21, S21, and construction began to adapt the prison to the inmates. The buildings were enclosed in electrified barbed wire, the classrooms converted into tiny prison and torture chambers, and all windows were covered with iron bars and barbed wire to prevent escapes and suicides. From 1976 to 1979, an estimated 20,000 people were imprisoned at Tuol Sleng. At any one time, the prison held between 1,001,500 prisoners. They were repeatedly tortured and coerced into naming family members and close associates, who were in turn arrested, tortured, and killed. In the early months of S21's existence, most of the victims were from the previous Lon Nol regime and included soldiers, government officials, as well as academics, doctors, teachers, students, factory workers, monks, engineers, etc. Later, the party leadership's paranoia turned on its own ranks, and purges throughout the country saw thousands of party activists and their families brought to Tuol Sleng and murdered. Those arrested included some of the highest-ranking communist politicians such as Koe Thaun, Vorn Vet, and Hu Nim. Although the official reason for their arrest was espionage, these men may have been viewed by Khmer Rouge leader Pol Pot as potential leaders of a coup against him. Prisoners' families were sometimes brought en masse to be interrogated and later executed at the Co Yung Ek Extermination Center. In 1979, the prison was uncovered by the invading Vietnamese army. In 1979/80, the prison was reopened by the government of the People's Republic of Kampuchea as a historical museum memorializing the actions of the Khmer Rouge regime. In 1979, H. Vien Tay, a Vietnamese combat photographer, was the first journalist to document Tuol Sleng to the world. Ho and his colleagues followed the stench of rotting corpses to the gates of Tuol Sleng. The photos of H documenting what he saw when he entered the site are exhibited in Tuol Sleng today. The Khmer Rouge required that the prison staff make a detailed dossier for each prisoner. Included in the documentation was a photograph. Since the original negatives and photographs were separated from the dossiers in the 1979–1980 period, most of the photographs remain anonymous today. The buildings at Tuol Sleng are preserved, some rooms as they were left when the Khmer Rouge were driven out in 1979. The regime kept extensive records, including thousands of photographs. Several rooms of the museum are now lined, floor to ceiling, with black and white photographs of some of the estimated 20,000 prisoners who passed through the prison. The site has 4 main buildings, known as Building A, B, C, and D. Building A holds the large cells in which the bodies of the last victims were discovered. Building B holds galleries of photographs. Building C holds the rooms subdivided into small cells for prisoners. Building D holds other memorabilia including instruments of torture. Other rooms contain only a rusting iron bed frame, beneath a black and white photograph showing the room as it was found by the Vietnamese. In each photograph, the mutilated body of a prisoner is chained to the bed, killed by his fleeing captors only hours before the prison was captured. Other rooms preserve leg irons and instruments of torture. They are accompanied by paintings by former inmate Van Nath showing people being tortured, which were added by the post-Khmer Rouge regime installed by the Vietnamese in 1979. The museum is open to the public from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visitors have the opportunity of viewing a survivor testimony from 2:30 to 3 p.m., Monday, Friday. Along with the Koyung Ik Memorial, the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum is included as a point of interest for those visiting Cambodia. Tuol Sleng also remains an important educational site as well as memorial for Cambodians. Since 2010, the ECCC brings Cambodians on a study tour to the Tuol Sleng, Koyung Ik, and finishing at the ECCC complex. During 2010, around 27,000 Cambodians visited the museum through this tour. Some believed that ghosts of the victims continue to haunt the place. A number of images from Tuol Sleng are featured in the 1992 Ron Fricka film Baraka. Survivors Chum May and Bu Meng can both frequently be seen near the administration office of the museum for a meet and greet as well as the opportunity to buy their biographies. Like us and join us at Extreme Collections for more fun and knowledge.